So today, Head of DT is gonna ride on the back of Holly for the first time. Head of DT, you've never ridden on the back of a sport bike, right?
Correct.
Well, let's teach you how to ride on a sport bike. And yes, she has a dual cross helmet on, or dual sport, or whatever you want to call it. You'll move this bike out of the way.
It's DOT approved.
Let's get the passenger pegs put down. All right, your ass is gonna be in this tiny little baby seat. Your feet go here. Hold on to me. If I do something, you do that exact same thing.
Don't go the other way.
Don't ever go the other way. So just hold me tight, and if I go to the right, you go to the right. If I go to the left, you go to the left. We are hooked up on Cena's, so we can talk. I think we're good. Are you ready to do this?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get on the bike. I'm gonna like establish that I have control, and then you're going to come over here, put your foot on this peg, hold my shoulder, pull up, swing your leg over, put your foot down on this, and then you sit down onto the seat. Then you can grab me and we'll start going, okay? Okay, I'm on my bike. I've got my kickstand up. I'm gonna put both hands on my handlebars. So use this, put your foot up, hold my shoulder, swing your leg over, and you can sit down on it.
Jesus.
How do you feel?
My butt is burning.
Hold on to me, and now I'll hold the tank.
I'm holding the tank now.
Okay, the tank is what you need to hold if we are coming into a braking situation, because otherwise, if you're holding on to me, what's gonna happen is you're gonna slide into me and you're gonna push my balls all up on the gas. So we're gonna try to avoid that, okay? Okay, so we're gonna get the bike cranked up. You still good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on. I think, can I move this leg?
Yeah, you can adjust and get comfortable. Okay, you ready?
Yeah, how fast are you gonna go?
Very slow.
What is very slow to you?
I mean, we're gonna be on comms, babe. If you need me to slow down, you tell me. Okay?
And so, will you tell me before I need to like lean or something?
No, you just hold on to me and it'll happen.
Oh.
It'll make sense. We're not gonna be leaning a lot here because it's not a lot to do leaning.
Okay, what if I feel like I'm gonna slide off?
Hold on to me tighter.
But my butt is what I'm I mean, I trust my legs to hold on to your waist, but my butt's sliding off. What do I do? Just like grab the tank and adjust my butt?
I would say, yeah, like you're not gonna have a problem with your butt sliding off, I don't think.
When I'm holding on to you, my butt slides closer to you. That's okay?
Yeah, I would say put one arm around me, one arm on the tank. Then you have both scenarios.
Can I hold tight to you?
Yeah, you can hold me as tight as you want. Okay. So just as a reminder to everybody watching this video, this is Heather's first time on the back of a sport bike. She's never ridden on the back of a bike before. So we're getting her accustomed. We are in a giant open parking lot. There is no traffic here.
I'm happy to have wind in my face.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I was trying to get us out and going. How you feeling?
Not as bad as I thought I would be.
I tried to tell you, it is very scary when you haven't done it yet, but once you do it, it's not as bad. So how did you feel about doing this before you got on it? Like, what was the feeling beforehand? What were you worried about?
Like the moments before or like months before?
Well, both.
Can you slow down in case there's a car?
Yeah, I'm watching. Don't worry about that. Like, that's nothing you have to worry with on this.
So what I was worried about beforehand, obviously traffic, but we kind of removed that from the situation. Falling off, like sliding off, I think because I did ride on the back of the dirt bike in a situation before, like in a, I think it was just like a quick little like go up to the top of the parking deck type thing before, and I guess because it's not made for two people, my butt kept sliding off every time you would turn. Yeah. And I thought that was how this would be.
Yeah.
I also am still trying to figure out how to, like, it's not, I don't feel like it's natural for when you're leaning one way for me to try and lean the same way. My natural reaction is to go the other way to balance. Okay. And so I'm kind of like, that's kind of weird, but.
Interesting. Okay, so the leaning with me is just not intuitive then.
not for me at least.
Okay. So the thing you were reacting to earlier when you were like, don't take the turn that fast,
Yeah.
the thing you're reacting to is a thing called counter steering with motorcycles. So what happens is when we're going slow, we're going about 12 right now. When we're going 12, when I make the wheel go to the left, the bike goes to the left. If I put the wheel going right, the bike will go right. All right, so I'm going to show that to you. Now watch the wheels. Like, see, I turn the handlebar to the right and we go right.
Yeah.
Well, when you go over a certain amount of speed, that switches. So at a certain speed, it's about probably 15 to 20. When you make the wheel go left, the bike's going to go right.
Right.
That's why it's called counter steering. But that
understand.
only engages at a certain speed.
Right.
And at about that speed is when you start leaning with the bike. And when you lean in the direction you're turning. Okay?
Turning the wheel or turning the handle?
The way you lean in the direction you want to go. So we would lean in this way to go this way.
Gotcha.
So what I'm thinking is when we have to counter steer, that's when you're like, oh, I don't like the way this feels.
Yeah. So what would happen to me as the passenger if I'm not, like if I don't lean, like if I don't get the memo that you're about to turn for some reason?
Yeah.
Like what would happen to me as the passenger if I don't turn that way? Or lean?
Nothing would happen. Essentially, nothing's gonna happen if you don't lean with me. The bike is just not going to be as stable as it could be. And granted, you know, there's nothing in this parking lot that's going to cause a big problem. But when you're talking, like if we were on the highway and let's just say I took a really hard exit and we had to lean into it, I would have to steer the bike more to make the same turn, as opposed to if you were just leaning with me, we wouldn't have to turn the bike as much.
One thing I don't like about being a passenger on this bike is that you don't have mirrors. So in order for you to look behind us, I don't feel like you could do that as effectively as when you're by yourself.
I could definitely do like this. Is it scary?
Not really.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think I've always said from the very beginning that what's scary to me is cars, not you, not.
You're not worried about what I'll do, you're worried about what other people will do?
Yeah.
Well, for anybody that's doing this with their girlfriend or their significant other, one thing I would definitely recommend is do this in a big parking lot like this and eliminate as many variables as the person can have.
Especially if they've never been on a bike. I mean, like I've been on T, but I've never been on the street. It's never really been my interest to be on the street on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
It still really isn't, but I want to do this just to know.
Yeah.
Because I mean, sometimes it's appealing, like when we're in the city, just to think like, okay, well, it would be fun for a day just to get on the back of Holly and us ride around Atlanta or ride around at the beach and not have to worry about being in a vehicle, in a car. I feel like I'm really, I don't know that paranoid is the right word, but I'm very cautious. I'm just a cautious person.
Yeah.
And so, like, I just don't really respond or react the same to people who are not as cautious as me. So to other people I might seem paranoid, but to me I'm just like looking out for my own well-being.
As far as having faith in me with driving or riding or piloting the motorcycle, how does that kind of go into effect? Like, are you just kind of like, well, I hope he doesn't wreck us into something, or how is that working in your
now?
brain? Yeah.
I mean, I'm not even thinking about that. Like, I trust you, and I don't think you're a reckless or careless rider. Like, had this happened like around the time that you were, just learning, or not just learning, but like, years ago.
Yeah.
I might be thinking that, but I'm not now because I trust you as a rider.
Yeah, that's a good point. Anybody that's watching this, if you guys are brand new to riding, I definitely don't recommend you doing this, because kind of similar to why we're doing this in a parking lot, we're eliminating all the outside variables like cars and traffic and all that kind of stuff. and that's going to facilitate Heather learning better, like as far as how to ride. And you don't want to compound those variables with you learning how to ride. I personally have been riding for I think 5 years now, and I'm a very competent rider, so I'm not having to think about clutch control or the throttle or this and that. I know what I'm doing. I'm not even having to think about that stuff. The only thing I'm having to keep in mind at this very moment is how fast am I going, and don't do anything abrupt that Heather's not ready for. Those are the only things that are kind of in my mind of like, okay, stay focused on, you know, staying under 15 miles an hour and taking turns extra slowly to help her get used to it.
You know, everybody's different. Obviously, like, to some people that might be watching this, they might be like, oh my God, this is so boring. Like, y'all are paranoid. There's a car.
Okay.
People might get anxious in this situation, but literally I am also analytical, so I like ask questions constantly, like, okay, what happens if this? Because I feel like the more informed I am about situations, the better I can react or respond in the right ways. So, and some people might not give a shit. They might be like, I'm gonna do whatever feels good in the moment.
Yeah, you're one of those people that likes to be prepared for a situation and all that kind of shit.
Yeah, so
yeah, I'm the exact same way though, and I feel like the people that research stuff on YouTube, like the fact that somebody's researching this video means that they're probably looking for tips and techniques on how to teach their significant other to want to ride. So I feel like the same type person is gonna watch this video kind of that you are, to get prepped to learn to what they need to know. Also, another thing to keep in mind, guys, is when you're doing this kind of stuff, this kind of goes back to the pilot of the vehicle. One of the hardest locations, or the hardest maneuvering for motorcycling, is slow speed. So be very careful. Like I said, I've ridden before, and I've ridden with passengers, and I've ridden at slow speed before, so it's not a big deal to me. But I don't want you guys to have been riding for a month and be like, oh yeah, get on the back. Because it is a totally separate riding style, at least the way I do it when I'm riding with a passenger. I'm a lot more careful, and there's just a lot more stuff you have to keep in mind when you have a passenger on the back.
Are you not concerned about like the gravel and rocks that are in the parking lot?
Nope, that's why I rode around on T earlier to check, and I've already checked everything, and I feel confident in the road.
Can we stop and get off, because my arms and back are hurting?
Absolutely. Okay, so to get off, I'm gonna establish that I've planted the bike. Okay, the same way you got off, lift your legs up and stand up on the pegs a little bit.
Right now?
Yep, I've established the bike, I've established the balance of the bike. You're fine, I've got it.
Now what?
Now swing that right leg over.
Can I hold on to the bike?
If you want to, yeah. I mean, holding on to me is probably a better set, but...
Well, I can't really see around all of this shit, so it's like...
Gotcha. Well, how's that?
Fine.
Lot less, like, dangerous than you expected?
Well, we weren't in any dangerous situation.
I know, but you were still scared to get on the bike and do it. Well, high five. Alright, babe. I'm ready when you are. Alright, I have established balance on the bike.
It's funny that I say that.
Well, it's just to make it very clear with you that the bike is in my control. You are safe to get on. Alrighty, ready for the final ride of the day?
Yeah, y'all.
Alrighty, ready?
Yep.
Okay.
So, to recap today.
Yes, we took a break, took some pictures.
And I rode T a little bit.
Yeah, Heather rode T a little bit. Now we're back on the R6 to do a little more, like one final day test of how Heather feels on the back of the bike. So how do you think if you were to rate this experience from a learning perspective, what would you say? How good was it?
Like on a scale of 1 to 10?
Sure.
I would say it's about a 8 or 9. I think
okay,
I only think that the only difference could have been, I mean, one thing is out of our control, like how hot it is, but because that it makes people more irritable. And then with extra gear, you're just like, ugh, miserable. But I guess it's one of those things you just get used to. And then another thing is that obviously I know like I'm weird. Like it's my preference to be out here and to be away from vehicles, like cars and stuff. And it's also kind of boring at the same time when you're like we talked about it a minute ago, where it's just like the same thing over and over. And I guess that's kind of how it has to be though when you're learning.
Well, yeah, the point is to do something that you're comfortable with. Then and you slowly introduce new things.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't so hot today, I think what we would probably go into is me going a little faster and you getting used to leaning over with me.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you're comfortable with that yet.
I mean, I definitely think I'm more comfortable now than I was not this morning, but earlier.
It's very interesting. I think you reacted very, very similar to how Matt does, where you react a lot on what the bike sounds like. Because there's been times where the bike was revving a little higher than what you were used to, I think. And you were kind of like, slow down, slow down, slow down, but we were going at the same speed. How's that feel? There you go. That's what I expect to feel. See? You got to trust me totally that I'm not going to let this bike fall over with you on it or me on it. Because that's going to allow you to feel where I'm going. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're doing better. We're actually going a little bit faster than we were earlier.
Yeah.
This is the beginning of a transition into when you counter steer. So this is when we pull it one way and we go the other. Alrighty guys, well, I think this is a pretty successful day. So to kind of recap what we've done today, I've just gotten Heather on the back of the bike. I have not left first gear, and I've kept the bike under 20 miles an hour. You're probably saying to yourself, well, that's boring. I don't want to go practice that. But it's these boring little things that are going to get her used to slow speed. And once she's used to slow speed, we'll start picking the speed up gradually, and she's going to learn to be more and more comfortable. Granted, every passenger is going to be different. You know, you have some people that might just jump on and want you just to haul ass. So you kind of have to judge your passenger. I would really super recommend getting your passenger on a Cena. Me and Heather can both talk to each other with our Bluetooth communicators right now. So she's able to tell me, I don't feel comfortable, slow down, or okay, this is feeling good. I feel like we can do a little more than this. If you guys want to grab a Cena, you can click the link in the description. I've put one down, or put a link down there for you to grab one if you want one. I highly recommend it.
As the person learning to ride, I would also recommend, like if you are the one who wants to learn and you're trying to convince your boyfriend or whoever it is to teach you, I would, as the person asking, I would recommend this as well, because, you know, like as me back here, tapping him could mean anything. Like it could be like, without the Cenas, it could be like, hey, slow down, or hey, I need to pee, or I'm bored, you know, it could mean anything. So
yeah, and I mean, back in the day, what you'd have to do is before you go out and ride, you would have to like figure out hand gestures with your passenger, like, hey, so double tap me if you want to slow down, pinch my leg if you want me to stop. Like, you'd have to figure stuff like that out. But the thing that sucks about that, especially in this situation, is not only is Heather having to learn how to ride on the back of a motorcycle, but in that scenario, she would also have to be learning, like having to memorize sign language and shit. Like, it just makes it so it makes it a much easier situation for all parties involved. So I definitely recommend the Bluetooth thing. And as far as how slow or fast you take it, it's going to be totally up to your passenger. You kind of need to let them kind of tell you how fast they want to go, how much they want to learn. For Heather's specific purpose, you know, today all we did was ride around the parking lot at about 16 miles an hour. But anyways, guys, we're going to call this a day. I think it's pretty successful.
Woo-hoo! Yeah!
Heather's like, whoa, I can get off this bike because this seat sucks.
No, the seat actually doesn't suck. It's like I'm not used to leaning over. Like I feel hunched over. I feel like my posture is so bad.
But anyways, guys, I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you're trying to, you know, teach somebody to ride, or just trying to convince somebody to get on the back with you, you know, just take it easy and take it at their own pace. If you guys like this video, make sure to click the like button and subscribe to the channel. The channel's not all about learning yet, but the starter series is slowly coming out, I promise. But anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm Chase.
I'm Headed ET.
That's Headed ET. If you want to click to her channel, there'll be a link in the description and on the screen right now. Hope you guys have an awesome day, and we'll see you on the next video. Later.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye. You did a good job, babe. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you. You kept your patience with me.
I think we're becoming a much better relationship.